Bitcoin. Bitcoin, Bitcoin, Bitcoin. What is it? Why do we keep hearing about it?
Bitcoins. You never heard of them a few weeks ago? Now everybody's talking about them, but is it a currency?
I don't know. Or is it more like a stock? Or is it a tulip bulb?
Or is
We're
it
going to
just
debate that.
stupid?
Have you ever heard of Bitcoin?
Bitcoins, maybe I should get some. Do you have any?
I'll tell you what, I don't know what to do exactly with Bitcoin, and they don't look a bit like these coins. Matter of fact, they're kind of in the Ethernet. What are they?
We have something called the Bitcoin. Now, what's the Bitcoin?
Bitcoin Top 100 Rich List from 3rd of June 2011.
Cryptocurrencies and Bitcoin. Look, is Bitcoin going away? No. But we're in a higher interest rate environment. Those are continue to go up, and that makes even not just Bitcoin, but other risky investments, a lot of these technology stocks, they do get affected by that.
Is this a future or just another Ponzi scheme? Let's go back to 2008.
I think this is the most significant financial crisis in the post-war period.
There are fears the sell-off will continue on Wall Street.
Soaring gas prices, falling home prices, and rising unemployment.
What kind of recipe is that? Overall, that's a recipe for a recession.
2008 was a bad dream. It was a bloody year on Wall Street and a real capitulation for a system run amok.
Nearly 250,000 homeowners are in danger of losing their homes.
The bankers made irresponsible loans to homeowners, permitted them to buy property on margin. Then the housing prices collapsed, the mortgages couldn't be paid, and the banks essentially became insolvent.
The collapse of Bear Stearns was catastrophic. It was a wake-up call to Wall Street. That was a real tell in the unfolding and the house of cards coming crumbling down.
2008, we had a housing crisis. I don't know if you guys remember, but back in 2008, a lot of loaners lent out a bunch of mortgage loans to people that couldn't afford houses. They didn't check their backgrounds at all because there was no policy on that back in 2008. So all these people that didn't have jobs or didn't have clearly enough funds to afford these houses got mortgage-backed loans by these banks that clearly didn't know who they were giving out loans to.
Institutions, some of the largest lenders in America had made bad loans, bundled them into securities that were virtually worthless, insured them with companies that couldn't stand behind the insurance.
So we had a 2008 housing crisis. A lot of people lost their homes and a lot of people lost their money in the banks. So by the end of the 2008, 2 million people lost their jobs. The Lehman Brothers went under and a lot of people were rushing to the banks to get their money, but a lot of people were left without their money. So this was kind of a bank run. So what happened? A lot of people lost their jobs, people lost their money, and who got bailed out first?
And in the end, the federal government had bailed them out because we need these big banks to keep the economy going.
The Bush administration and Congress are working out their differences over that $700 billion bailout.
I think we've turned the corner in terms of stabilizing the system.
There were congressmen whose offices were being flooded with letters, with phone calls from angry constituents that $700 billion would go to Wall Street.
The government ended up bailing out the financial institutions that created this whole mess. Yeah, crazy, right? That the government gets the banks first. Well, this is kind of like how Bitcoin started. In 2009, an anonymous group or person named by Satoshi Nakamoto created Bitcoin. To this day, no one knows who Satoshi Nakamoto is. So it's been about 14 years and people still don't know who he is, or she is, or a group. Okay, so we don't know who made it, right? So we don't know who controls it. That's kind of the awesome part about it. Bitcoin is just energy. It's run on a blockchain. Blockchain is a method of recording of information that makes it impossible to hack or change. So that's what Bitcoin is running on. How is Bitcoin run if no one knows who created it or made it? Well, they're called nodes. A bunch of people that are running these nodes across the whole country, not just the US, but are Bitcoin nodes. Bitcoin nodes are basically software that run the Bitcoin network. And they are run by these miners spread across the world. And these miners do have an initiative to run the Bitcoin software because they do get paid back in Bitcoin. For each transaction that they complete, they do get paid in Bitcoin. So it's a risk reward that they get in part. Bitcoin's pretty awesome. There's only 21 million Bitcoin in the world, like I said. It's run by Bitcoin nodes, which are people spread across the world, and it's secure. It hasn't been hacked or manipulated in the last 14 years. No one knows who owns it, so the government can't go to the person and say shut it down, and it's run through software and technology. You can't stop technology. As you can see, as the internet, everyone has the internet, right? So Bitcoin has been spreading fast since 2009, and a lot of people are worst case scenarios like war and stuff are running to it. So is Bitcoin good? The chairman of the SEC, Gary Gensler, just said that Bitcoin is a commodity, not a security.
But let me try it this way. What is it about Bitcoin that causes you to conclude it is not a security?
Well, one is there's no group of individuals in the middle.
Right. It's
there's
decentralized.
No group of individuals in the middle.
Right.
That are basically, and you're not, in essence, the investing public's not betting on somebody in the middle or 6 people in the middle.
So you're choosing not to use the term decentralized, but that's what you're describing. It is the decentralized nature of Bitcoin, I think, is really what you're getting at.
What is a security? Security is like stocks, right? So you buy a stock, that's a security. When you sell it, you get taxed on. A commodity is more like gold. At the start of this video, Bitcoin right now, currently, sits at $23,489. When it started in 2009, Bitcoin was only worth 0.009 of a cent. That's crazy for how much the price has changed. If historical price graphs, you can see that Bitcoin's been in an uptrend since 2009. So that was a brief explanation of what Bitcoin is. So the key takeaways from here is Bitcoin is decentralized, so no government control. It has a fixed supply of 21 million, only 21 million ever going to be created. The SEC chairman declared Bitcoin as a commodity, not a security. The price growth that Bitcoin has since 2009, yes, it is volatile, but if you actually look at the price growth graphs, you will see that Bitcoin has been an uptrend since 2009. 14 years later, it's higher than it has been in 2009. Bitcoin can be used as a savings, a hedge against inflation. As you can see now, it seems like we're reliving 2008 with the housing crisis, with inflation, the prices are up. And also, Bitcoin can be hope for people in other countries that don't have access to a bank, but they have a cell phone, since Bitcoin is technology, right? Now, if you're interested in getting Bitcoin, it's way easier than it was back in the days. But if you've seen in the past news, a lot of crypto companies have went under and people have been getting their assets frozen. So if you don't want that to happen to you because you never know what exchanges are actually telling the truth, what I go through, in my opinion, I go through Robinhood. I haven't had an issue with them. You could actually buy Bitcoin on their platform as well as stocks. If you found this video to be knowledgeable and pretty exciting, please give me a like. Please subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you on the next one. Thank you.